Disclaimer: the following contents were recorded in extremely windy conditions. Just to give you an example, I think what it is like, especially with like interns, I feel like they don't really want to let you. Anyways, I hope you appreciate the video and let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, all that.
I saw you were just like standing out into the abyss, just kind of looking out. What were you thinking about? Or like, was it just like you were encapsulated in the moment?
Yeah, so I've been working in an internship for like the past like 2-3 months uh in Austin. And yeah, I've been feeling a little like down lately and like a little lost in like work in terms of like why I'm working, how this fits into like my life.
Is
And
it not what like you expected?
yeah, it's a bit different from what I expected. On like different levels. Yeah, my work's been kind of different from like what I thought it would be coming into. I thought it would be like a bit more high tech, because Tesla.
I think what it is like, especially with like interns, I feel like they don't really want to let you do things.
Yeah,
So they kind of just like have like extra stuff for you to do sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
Like I've heard a lot of experiences from some of my friends that have taken up internships where they're just like kind of doing nothing or just like looking at spreadsheets, or it's just like one-off things, maybe not stuff that pertains to like the actual job that they would be doing,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. But there's definitely, I think, that aspect. Like, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is how important it is to treat people in a way that like maintains their dignity instead of
Like just with respect.
yeah, with respect.
Mhm.
Instead of just kind of seeing them as their role, like as a, for example, in a team or a company, you have like a title where you have responsibilities,
Yeah.
and some people treat you kind of like a tool, like they just assign you to things without talking to you first, for example, or like giving you a lot of context, asking you if you would be okay with working on something.
So, like, you felt, like, disrespected as, like, a intern, I guess you could say?
A
Or
little
just, like, in, like, work in general?
Yeah, I think there's been like particular persons who are kind of like that, and that made me think a lot. Like, you know,
Mhm.
a lot of people in the company that I've met so far are extremely nice. They're like really chill people. But then there's pretty like major exceptions.
It's like, they have, like, some type of entitlement. Like, they feel like they're better than other people.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that. I don't know like what is inside their heads that makes them acting that way, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's possibly like yeah.
What it
Probably.
is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, um, what are some of the thoughts that you've been thinking about? Because like, you said that you're kinda inconclusive of what you want.
From when I was a kid, I've been the type of a person who like sort of thinks a lot and has like a lot of goals, a lot of like dreams, and I wanted to kind of find a purpose in my life, or, like my meaning in my life as a kid, like in middle school and high school. And for the past few years, going to college and like trying to survive there, trying to find a job, like pay for the bills. I think I kind of like lost touch with it. I've been trying to like remember what some of those dreams were, like what my purpose was. And I think something that I strongly felt in high school is that so I'm like working in engineering, and I think engineering has a lot of potential to work or to create useful and beneficial things for humanity. But I think since coming into college, I've been a little bit disillusioned, realizing that a lot of efforts, a lot of time by most people are spent on things that are like motivated by money instead of by like
Like, actual, like, passion or dreams, it's, like, almost soulless in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah, like, that that part that you're talking about, almost the engineering, like, I originally thought that I was gonna be an engineer my entire life,
Really? Okay.
which is why, like, I had that response about me being an economics major
Mm.
because, like, it was less of a, I guess, of a choice and more of something that I kinda just was left with. And, the reason why that is because I originally tried to internal transfer into engineering here at
Oh,
UT,
I see.
and I wasn't able to do that, but even before I was able to not able to internal transfer, I remember, like, going to career fairs or, like, just being in the classes and just feeling, like, uninterested. And,
In, like, engineering classes or
yeah, so I was in, like, introduction to electrical engineering.
Gotcha.
I was in, like, introduction to computing.
Right.
I've just taken a lot of tech, like,
Oh.
my entire life. It's always been something that I've been good at,
Mm.
which is why I thought I had to pursue these things.
Right.
One thing that my sister told me growing up and I kinda stuck with, being into college was saying, like, um, it's you need to find a job that not only are you good at, but you can see yourself doing for a long time.
Mm.
And yeah, I've always been good at the tech and
Mm.
the maths and stuff, but when I thought about, like, is this something that I can do that actually, like, gives me fulfillment? I was like, "No, it isn't."
Mm.
It's something that I look back on and I'm like, "Yeah, I just couldn't do it."
Because it didn't align with, like, your
I guess, like, not only, like, my passion and, like, I guess the lifestyle, like, I went into it originally thinking, like, I wanted, like, a higher margin of, like, starting salary, I guess,
Right, yeah,
in
yeah.
comparison to other jobs,
Mm.
and I came to realize that, like, the money wasn't worth, like, my happiness in
Yeah.
a sense because I knew I was capable of being able to do it, like, if I truly wanted to, like, I could still continue to pursue engineering, but
Mm.
for me personally, like, I was just like, I don't wanna be driven by the monetary gains, I'd rather just work towards something because I actually love it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And, I think that's something that maybe you're uh, touching on, but also, like, I've been trying to find myself in the past, like, year or so as well.
Mhm. It seems like we kinda reached similar conclusions, but you did that earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
So
maybe.
so I already graduated, it's like
No,
last
no,
year.
but I would say, like, no matter what matters is that you graduated
Yeah.
because then, like, the credits and the stuff that you have,
Mm.
there's actually something that you can show and now it's forever, you
Yeah.
know? So no matter what avenue or what area you continue to go into, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a waste, right?
Mhm.
I would say too, like, college, like, is full of different experiences that you've never gone through before.
Right.
So I would say just having that experience too is like it makes it less of a waste. I
Mhm.
think that's something that I struggle to like kind of understanding because like whenever I did end up not making it and I feel like I failed,
Mm.
I told myself like, well, is like any of this worth it? I was like, should I even stay in college or like continue to like do these things? And or so like it's really because of, like, my parents. My parents always told me that they always envisioned me and had the dream for me to be educated
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
with a bachelor's, so
Right.
I guess, like, that's what initially, I guess, like, kind of gave me the motivation to continue, but nowadays, um, I would say I think just having, like, that fundamental, like, education and also, like, the connections is infinitely more important. So, that's where I stand now, when it comes to everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to hear about, like, your story of, you know, how you came to where you are.
Yeah, now. And I would say too, like, that's also, like, why I kinda started doing this. Uh, I always dreamed about being a business owner, and I always envisioned, like, kind of, achieving something bigger, I guess, than myself. And, I always had these dreams, always had these thoughts, but I thought, like, these things were almost unachievable.
Mm.
And,
Like
one day
owning a business?
I would say, like, just, like, working for myself because I was so stuck in a box that I was like, "Okay, like, I'm gonna go to work, like, I'm gonna do this, stick to the 9 to 5," and I felt comfortable with it at the time, but
Mm.
thinking back, like, what you were saying about, like, your dream, how, like, you kinda losing focus of, like, what's the purpose?
Right.
I went through that too, and I realized, like, okay, well, if I truly want to, like, be a business owner or if I wanna, like, kind of work for myself, then why don't I start? And that's why, like, I started doing this and being more consistent with just, like, I guess what my dreams were. And I found that I've become a lot more satisfied with my life. Even though like I haven't even amassed like that many subscribers or followers. It was more so of a thing of like I felt fulfilled because I felt like I was doing something that I truly wanted to do.
Something that resonates.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that added benefit is like I get to talk to people like you,
Mm,
and I get to hear your experiences and maybe give you a light in your life or just you know,
right.
let you just say whatever you want.
Yeah, and I get to hear your story too, and like
Yeah, yeah, of course.
other people get to like I don't know, like hear some of our opinions. I guess.
Mhm. I was gonna say, like I know it's kind of difficult because like you kind of have like that social anxiety.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Has that always been like a big thing in your life?
Yeah, it has been. I kind of wonder when it all started. Uh, I think part of it is like genetics. I think my parents are a bit more anxious than general, like
Okay.
typical average person, but like not by a lot. And I think like like a trigger point you can call that is when I like immigrated to the US from Korea,
Okay.
which I was like 13 back then, and I like went into middle school. And, I think I was like already kind of an introverted kid. Um, and then like I knew nothing about English. I could not speak. I could not understand. And like I remember not really trying to like learn how to speak English for a long time because I was scared. Like I couldn't speak, and I thought people would like either make fun of me or look at me in a bad way by like trying to speak the broken English, not trying to speak that much in school. Maybe I spoke like maybe 5-10 sentences in a whole like school day, which is a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Um, especially because like I'm quieter than usual, but like it's not like I have nothing to say, in general. But yeah, I think that continued on to high school a little bit. It got better with time. Like English learning better with time. But maybe like that piece of being anxious. People would get looking at me in like a negative way, sort of stuck within my brain. And like even now, still like plays a big role in my life. Like there would be places I would want to go to, but I would feel scared to go to like alone.
I guess when it comes to social anxiety for me, like, yeah, I feel like growing up, like, I didn't feel like I was like very attractive. I felt kind of like ugly in a sense. I would like always like ridicule myself about like I guess my looks. I always felt like I wasn't wanted in a sense. And I think that played into it, like why I didn't want to talk to anybody. And like I guess like I pronunciate my words and I speak a lot clearer now, but growing up and especially in some instances even now, people would be like, "Oh, like you need to speak up." And I think what it is too is like I lived a large majority of my life alone. I really not that my family wasn't there for me, but I would say like I've just always done things kind of myself.
Yeah.
My siblings are a lot older than I am, so like 7 and 11 year age gap. And then my parents are like, my mom was 40 when she had me.
Gotcha. Wow.
So like my parents were always working. My sisters were always doing something kind of like externally that doesn't have to do with me. So I was just kind of left alone. And I think that kind of played into like why I ended up having a lot of social anxiety because I just didn't talk to anybody. I was just always in my own bubble. But I think what broke me out of it is just like having like those one-off friends that I could really confide in at the time. I think they really kind of broke me out of my shell. And I would say to you, if you're struggling to like find I guess the courage to go outside, I would say maybe like start at Tesla, or like you might know some people, maybe just try to talk to them. Maybe it might be a little difficult at first. Like you're saying, like it took you 2 months
Right.
to walk outside. Things maybe aren't gonna be like right after like tomorrow, for instance. But I would say like maybe just make an extra conscious effort to try to like communicate. And what I've come to find out about a lot of people is that most of the things that you fear is really just all in your head. Like I just came up to you and I just started talking to you.
Right.
But if I had never said anything, we probably would have never interacted at all.
Right.
And
Maybe like forever.
yeah, what I'm getting at is basically like I feel like a lot of people are very receptive to people. So just like saying anything, don't feel like people are like, oh, like why is this guy saying something to me? It's more so just like a lot of people are just open to like just talk, you know? I think that's why it's important to kind of like advocate for it, and why like I feel like doing stuff like this is really important. But yeah, I think like
Thanks for the advice.
I mean, I
that's
think
actually
I
really
think you should just start at Tesla for sure, and just see if maybe anybody wants to hang out, even if it's not at the bar at first. Like just be like, hey, do you want to get lunch? Like something simple like that, you know?
Yeah.
With like the rise of social media, I've seen like I've come to find out that a lot of people end up having like the same fears as you do. So like even okay, obviously there's gonna be exceptions to the rule. So like maybe they'll be like, oh, like this is like corny, or like what are you doing? Like, but a lot of people, they find like those things really admirable whenever you do like stand up, I guess, for yourself, or just like kind of have the courage to public speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say like that kind of adds into it. Like I would say like no matter what, when it comes to new experiences or kind of like going against your fears, you're always going to be nervous. Like even now, like I get nervous before I talk to people. Like I was nervous like right now. I was just kind of being like, oh, like what should I say to like kind of start this conversation? But I think that kind of brings it to like another thing that a lot of people struggle with, which is just starting. A lot of people struggle to just start to do stuff.
For sure, yeah.
And it stops them from being happy and being satisfied. They feel like they get, like you were saying, kind of like they get comfortable with the situation that they're at, and then from there, they don't look for change, even though like they might want it so bad, but it looks so far away because of all the fear or like whatever's blocking you.
Right, yeah. And like if they get stuck in that state for a long time, they might forget that like they want to change.
Yeah, for sure. That's what happens a lot with people now that work in our society, you know, because it's safe.
Yeah.
Being an employee is safe. You know when you're gonna get paid, you know how much you're gonna get paid, and that's why we have. I mean, there's been a surgence of like more people doing like, I guess, different stuff, but I would still say like a large majority of people just are still very comfortable, and they're very iffy when it comes to change.
Right. And I think like the fact that there's so many fun things to do that don't require a lot of efforts or courage, or like going out of your comfort zone, like like turning on your TV and like,
For sure.
Yeah, no efforts, no courage. But it's so fun.
It's like
so many
it's just dopamine, you know?
Right.
Yeah, just like short form dopamine. I mean, like I'm like an addict myself when it comes to like the reels or like the YouTube shorts. Like I don't know.
Scrolling.
Yeah, it's like doom scrolling. I guess like I get out of that sometimes, but it still has a chokehold on me, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
And I kind of wonder, there's always going to be people who still manage to like do really cool things, like go out of their way to grow themselves and like try different things. But I kind of wonder, like in terms of like our society as a whole, if kids like in the next generation after us have like a harder time to like do that, just because they're like super easy, cheap sources of dopamine.
I think we're already seeing kind of the after effects almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like with every generation we see like more of our literacy rates like going down.
Really?
Yeah, like we're becoming dumber. But it's not because we're like we're actually dumber like biologically. It's just like a lot of people are not applying themselves anymore. And it's because of like exactly what you're saying. Like there's a lot of short form dopamine and a lot of comfortability that doesn't advocate for change, and thus people just stay comfortable with just being whoever they are in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I would say too, like it's difficult, man. Like
Yeah.
I would say this society right now also very much promotes degeneracy when it comes to like either sex or gambling or alcoholism, like I feel like that's like it's the biggest it's ever been right now, and it's because of social media. And I think that kind of adds into like why a lot of people struggle to have relationships too, because they have
Yeah.
a skewed view of society and the world itself. Like they almost don't have their own personal perspective. They kind of just take it from whatever they see in the media.
Yeah, and like internalize it and
Yeah.
like, just their own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
I'm not even sure. Like I couldn't tell you that like immune from that.
no,
I mean,
I don't think anybody is. But I think it's like I think it's literally just like everything in moderation. Because the moment that you start to do something too much, it becomes bad.
right.
I think that's how you combat it. I guess like because like you can't really escape it. It's always gonna be in your life. Um and that maybe that sucks, but at the same time it's good. I don't know. There's added benefits to everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is your purpose? It's not very like
Yeah, yeah.
broad and also
So
yeah.
when it comes to purpose, this is actually something that I've been trying to find for like the large majority of like the past year. And it all kind of stems from that moment of failing when it came to the engineering stuff. I really took a step back and I kind of realized like what I wanted from my life.
Right.
And the conclusion that I came to was that I wanted my purpose to be where I was like the sole keeper of my time. I really wanted to be. I sat back and I stripped away everything. I was like, okay, well, let's not worry about a job or I guess like family things. I guess like or like just like things going on in my life. I was just like, what would I want? And it was to be the sole keeper of my time, because what that allows me to do is that it allows me to do whatever I want in my life.
Right.
Whatever, do the things that I'm passionate about, and or spend time with my family and cultivate my own family. That's also been like a big dream of mine, and that's why like I wanted to be the sole keeper of my time, so I would have time to cultivate a family, because my family was very small growing up. So I wanted to make it more personal and be more personal when it came to the family, create like my own traditions and stuff.
Oh.
And yeah, I feel like when it comes to like, why you want to do things, I feel like there's always a how. And then it took me a lot longer to find the how, but my how is I wanted to do all of this while being a genuinely good person. Like I didn't want to have to result in being unauthentic in order to reach success, which is like a big thing of how people reach it nowadays.
Yeah.
And no shame, but that's just not the way that I want to live my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really pervasive, I think, nowadays. Like
Yeah, it's
more than before.
for sure. That's what I was saying. Like a lot of people like to promote degeneracy, but it's because like it's quick, That's what a lot of people lack nowadays, and that's kind of been forever. Patience. That's like the biggest thing. It's like, you never see videos of like, here's the slowest way to get a relationship. Here's the slowest way to become fit. It's always, here's a 30-minute workout of how you can get fit.
Right.
Here's 5 minutes of how you can better yourself. Here's, everything's the short form. Everybody wants stuff now, now, now. But in reality, short-term work leads to short-term results,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really the big thing, you know? And it's kind of because like what we've been talking about, like when it comes to like either fear, comfortability, or like just procrastination. Whenever people hear, oh, it's gonna take me 5 minutes, they're like, okay, easy. I can dedicate 5 minutes. But they're like, oh, it's gonna take you 3 months. Like,
Yeah. That
yeah, never mind.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though they would be better off if they did the
The 3
the
months.
3 months, you know.
Mm.
But this is how things are nowadays. Kind of touching back on like, I guess, jobs and work. Well, what job would you want to work like if you didn't have to worry about money?
Right. Yeah. I think I sort of put down the first half, like what I
Okay.
want to say about engineering. Like first half thing that it seems to involve like so much about money and a lot less about like practical utility and like how to help people, like genuinely. But I still think it is very much possible to like do things that are helpful, even though they're not like the most standard or accessible like uh ways. Like for example, like I think getting a job in like a commercially successful company who are building like things that are, you know, super duper helpful for like underrepresented like either populations or like communities, for example, like people with disabilities. I think it's really hard, like a lot harder than, like for example, working in automotive where there's a lot of money, but personally, like in my opinion, like not much innovation to happen. Like, like cars have come a long way for the past like 7 years, and they're already really good. There's like, you know, like, I feel like you could build cars that are like maybe 20 times or 20 to 30% more efficient than now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's kind of it might be it. Like there's not a lot of things to be done with cars anymore.
Yeah.
They're already really nice. But then, for example, like I worked in a lab that like built technology for people with visual impairments, and like during that time, I read a lot of papers on like technology and devices that would help people with visual impairments, and realized that like almost none of them like were commercially successful.
Mhm.
Like the visual impairment, like visually impaired community right now, like they don't really use like an app or a hardware device, uh, like in a way that is like majorly transformative. They try new things as they come out, and usually get disappointed and go back to like their like built wisdom of like how to like help go through their daily activities.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I was gonna say like I feel like when it comes to industries like that, like what happens is that since it's a smaller community, they usually have to charge a lot more,
right,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And
They have the ability to, because insurance companies are built to give really big reimbursements.
yeah. And also too, it's just like so they're profitable. But I was gonna say like in a lot of lines of work, like where you're saying like commercially, like whenever you get into business or like that, it's more so about like the mission than it is about like the money that you'll get from it, you
Right,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Because you won't really be super successful, if you make a business like that because your room to grow only is as much as there are visually impaired people,
Right, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's going to be like a small majority of people,
right.
so
And like ideally there wouldn't be, like this might be an offensive thing to say. But, like, ideally there wouldn't be any visually impaired people,
yeah.
in the night.
No, I mean, I feel like that's imperative, right? I feel like people with disabilities would rather not have the disability that they had
Yeah,
if they had the choice
right.
to not have it, you know?
Mm.
But I would say, like, how does that play into, like, I guess, the dream job? Like, would you wanna help people?
Yeah, yeah, and that's like kind of like my eventual goal, like of that's like the big dream that I have that I like want to get to somehow. Like my idea of like what my ideal like future.
Oh shit.